Moving on to question 7, it says a string is a palindrome if it reads the same forwards as backwards, and the following strings are examples of palindromes. So for example here, well the first character is R, I guess the last character is also R, right, the second leftmost is A, the second rightmost is A, what the third leftmost is C, yeah the third rightmost is C, and then of course we get to E. Now because E is just by itself, right, then that means it kind of is a palindrome. Because I guess, yeah, there's just nothing to compare it with. And yeah, obviously 2 more examples. Right, it also says uppercase and lowercase characters need to be treated the same. For example, big A is equivalent to small a. Right, then we just want a function is palindrome that returns, well, true if it is a palindrome, or yeah, false if the parameter string is not a palindrome. So, I mean, right, maybe let's just explain how we're going to do this. Right, what we'll do is we'll have some kind of index variable, and for example that will start at 1, and what we'll check is, well, if the kind of leftmost character is the same as kind of like the sort of index rightmost character. So I mean here if we're saying, well, the first leftmost and you know the first rightmost character, are they the same? Right, then if they are, well then we go to the next one. So the next one we have you know the second leftmost, the second rightmost, I check they're the same. Yeah, the third leftmost, the third rightmost, check they're the same. Alright, so let's just go ahead and try this. And yeah, I think I'll just write this race car, you know, just as an example. So, and I think I'll also use, for example, ABBA, right, that's another simple one. And you know, it's, well, really what you want is you want one that has an odd number of characters, because you know then we have a single character by itself, and yet another one which has an even number of characters, and you know, check it works for both of them. Now the way you can calculate how many times you need to loop, because if you think we only really need to loop half of it, right, we sort of check the left half and we're checking the right half, and you know, we're kind of like checking them at the same time. So what we can actually do, well, basically here there's 7 characters, and basically we only need to loop 3 times, because yeah, when we get to the character by itself, well, we just ignore that, because basically it's going to be a palindrome. Right, so basically then, well, we can just use div. So if we try 7 div 3, okay, sorry, right, 7 div 2, right, this will be 3. And then likewise, if we try this, well, we have 4 characters. Again, let's just go div 2, right, dividing it in half. This is going to be 2. And then, yeah, we get, what, the 2 leftmost characters, the 2 rightmost characters. Okay, so let's just try and create this. Let's go IsPalindrome. Right, I think that's how you spell it. Let's go string. Yeah, that's going to be type string. And here we'll just say returns boolean. Now, I guess what we want is we'll want, I mean, if we're using a for loop, we don't really need the sort of current index, but I guess we will need a max index, and basically that'll be, you know, this value here that we're calculating. And yeah, okay, right, let's just go max index, right, that'll be integer. And I think we can also maybe get the string length, because otherwise we're just going to be, you know, using the length function over and over. So it's, yeah, kind of more efficient, I guess, if we, you know, assign it to a variable. Right, so let's say the string length. Well, this here will just be the length. Oops. Right, yeah, the length of str. Then if we want the max index, well, as we've seen before, this will just be the string length. Right, then just div 2. And then what we can do, well, we can just loop, you know, sort of for 1 to the max index. So let's go maybe position. So this will start at 1, then we will go to the max index. And then, yeah, I think here, I mean, basically we just need to get the characters. And you might be thinking that, you know, we can use left to get the leftmost characters, right to get the rightmost character. Now, when, you know, when the index is 1 and we only want the leftmost, we only want the rightmost, yeah, that works. But let's say now when we want, you know, the second leftmost or the second rightmost, well, here left and right are not going to work. Okay, so we're going to use mid. And I mean, we could actually, you know, assign these characters to a variable, kind of like the sort of left character, right character. But since we're only using it once in the if statement, you know, there's actually no point. So let's just go mid, and the left one is quite easy to get. We can just go string, and then just go position, and then, well, we just want 1 character. Because if you think, well, this will start on character 1, then the next time it will go character 2, then character 3. So right, that's quite easy. But then this one is harder. So here, well, mid again, we also want the string, but then we have to think about the starting position. So let's say here the length is 7, but the thing is, we don't want it to be a constant 7, right? It's also got a decrement, according to this position. But the problem is, well, if we do 7 minus position, well, that's then going to be character 6, which is this A. So we then just want to plus 1 to it. Right, so if we go string length minus position and then plus 1, we also want 1 character. And actually, I'm going to make these not equal, because if we check if they're not equal, then we can just return false. Right, so this means it's not a palindrome. Then if we just go end if, let's go next position. And similar to linear search, where if we kind of loop through the entire array or the entire string, well, in that case it means we haven't found it. Whereas in this case, well, if we've looped through and not found any that don't match, well, of course this means they all match, right? So in this case, we're just going to return true. Then if we just go end function, let's just try these. So let's go IsPalindrome. Let's try race car like they did. And actually, one thing I have forgot, right? They did say it should be case insensitive. So let's just go before here, and we'll just go string. And I mean, you can either convert this, well, to lower or to upper. Obviously it doesn't matter, right, as long as it's all the same. So let's just say to lower. And let's try, for example, maybe big R, and then see if this works. Okay, so this says true. All right, this is a palindrome. Likewise, let's try one with 4. I guess like kind of an even number of characters. This also says true. And then let's say we have, ABBA1. This is going to say false. Alright guys, so hopefully this makes sense, and well, hopefully see you in the next video.